Have you given more thought to what you're interested in?
I want to be a tennis pro like Ivan.
Oh, come on, you don't want to be a tennis pro.
Why not?
It's not serious. Ivan is fine, but he's not a serious guy. He's a Philistine.
What's a Philistine?
It's a guy who doesn't care about books or interesting films and things.
Then I'm a Philistine.
No, you're interested in books and things.
What's up guys, it's the Film Teen, back again with another video, and today we will be talking about the movie that landed Noah Baumbach his first Academy nomination, The Squid and the Whale. Starring Jesse Eisenberg, Jeff Daniels, Laura Linney, and Owen Kline, this movie follows a New York family trying to manage their lives in the midst of a divorce. While I've read online that a lot of people don't like this movie because of its unlikable characters, this is a film for me that tells a very interesting story that in a way has nothing to do with divorce. It's a coming of age story about the realization that our parents are people too. People with their own wants, needs, successes, broken dreams, and the fact that we have to discover ourselves as well. So without further ado, today I will be talking about The Squid and the Whale and how it explores a coming-of-age story about a teen who gets to know his parents and eventually has to get to know himself. Although this story does show the perspectives of each family member, it's largely Walt's story, examining how his parents' separation is affecting him. And I really love coming-of-age stories like this right now because I'm at a time in my life where they delve into some principles that really interest me. And Baumbach delivers these lessons in a quick and quirky fashion. In the opening scene, we meet a family in the midst of an intense tennis match, which can serve as a metaphor for the majority of the story. Walt and Bernard versus Frank and Joan. During the game, Bernard repeatedly rejects being scored on, claiming that the opposing side is only hitting the balls out of field, but hypocritically, he can't get the ball in play himself. He hits the net every time he tries to serve. Bernard's character basically does this the entire film, loudly declaring all of the wrong things in the world while simultaneously ignoring his own shortcomings. I'd say he's pretty much the bad guy in the story. And when I hear people talk about this movie, they really hate the fact that our main characters are so annoying. And they are very hypocritical at times, but while watching the movie, I feel like you can tell that that's really the butt of the joke. And it's very clear in the way that Baumbach shows these characters that he's not at all glorifying their behavior, because most of the humor in this movie comes from just watching our main characters fail at things. And unfortunately, Walt idolizes his father as if he's some sort of deity to be followed, in disdain for his mother. So he adopts most of his father's negative traits. He's a dismissive know-it-all with little regard for other people's thoughts and feelings. He even has little regard for his own thoughts and feelings. He taunts off like a star student in his writing class when in reality, he doesn't do any of the work and he doesn't even read the books. And Walt's carbon copy personality leads him to act as if he's somehow better than his girlfriend. It's like in his mind, he's somehow teaching her about literature. But to the girlfriend, like the audience, he just comes off as this sort of bumbling, awkward fool who can't even form his own opinion on things. And with his inability to create anything for himself, he eventually tries to pawn off a Pink Floyd song as if it was his own at his school's talent contest. So he does end up winning the $100 because there is no competition, but later the school tells his family that they're going to require him to give the money back and attend therapy sessions after all the stunts he's been pulling in school. So a few days later, during the session, Walt reveals that he misses a time in his life when him and his mother would visit a statue at a local museum, a statue of a giant squid fighting a killer whale. Walt misses a time when things were simpler, but unfortunately for him, now he has to deal with switching between houses, drowning out the noise from his parents' fights, and hearing unwanted stories from his mother's personal life. He's in transition, and he's really not handling it well at all. Nevertheless, he basically ignores the therapist's advice and continues to act like some sort of insensitive jerk. And about his mom telling stories of her romantic escapades, while many seem to write her character off as annoying or unrealistic, Baumbach said that while he was writing these quirks for these characters, he was really trying to explore the lives of some people who may seem highly intellectual, but they just don't really get something about social and emotional connection. And like I said before, that really is the butt of the joke in this movie. But Bernard goes off the rails when he hears that Joan is dating Ivan, their son's tennis coach. I mean, she basically left him for a laid-back tennis player, which is pretty much the antithesis of Bernard, and became a more successful writer than he was. So he ends up trying to force himself onto a writing student of his as if he's trying to get back at his wife, but Walt walks in and catches them before anything serious happens. So Walt runs away from the situation and Bernard tries to go looking for him. And after he finds him a few hours later at his mom's house, Bernard has a heart attack in the street from arguing. He's rushed to the hospital and no one is left with him but his son. And his son does give his father some little favors, but tension rises as Walt proclaims that he does not want to live with his father anymore. Once again, Bernard tries to abuse what little power that he has and use his parental figure in Walt's life as some sort of means to force him to keep living with him. Because other than Walt, Bernard doesn't really have anyone left. But by now, it's pretty clear to everyone in the story that Bernard is not really a good guy. So Walt runs away from his father a second time. This time back to the statue of a squid and the whale in the museum. He stands alone in the almost empty building, staring at the squid and the whale, fighting each other. We get a slow zoom before the credits pop up, and we hear that this is the end of the movie. Walt has finally realized that his father is not some god to be followed religiously, and his mother is not some devilish presence. They're human, with their own fallibilities and warm moments too. But at the same time, Walt has to find out who he wants to be, because he has to make some changes unless he wants to turn out the same bitter old man that his father was. But just as the statue remains in a constant position of battle, there seems to be no end in this story, as if Walt's parents are the squid and the whale themselves, and they won't stop fighting. I find it very interesting to compare this movie to Lady Bird, which seems to be somewhat of an opposite film. I see The Squid and the Whale as a story about a teenage boy who used to cling to his parents. But after all these bad things happen, he learns the necessity of leaving, separating, and developing himself as an individual. But Lady Bird seems to be about a girl who fiercely expresses herself while constantly battling and running away from her parents, only to find that in the end, she needs to reach back because that parental connection in her life is very important. But at the same time, I feel like structurally these movies are identical, with both the characters learning by the end that they need to embrace their parents and the fact that they make mistakes, but they can do some good things too. Final takeaways? Take some time to meet yourself and get to know your parents too, because living is not knowing. Anyway, thanks again for watching, you guys. I'm really excited and glad to be making these videos, and I just hope that you guys enjoy listening. So if you do, please like, comment, subscribe, and all that other YouTube stuff. And really, I love the comments because I just love to talk to you guys. And if you're interested, I also have a letterbox. You can follow me there if you want and get insights into what I'm watching. And I try to really log everything. So you might get a heads up on any video ideas before they come out. But with those things being said, I will see you guys in the next video. Bye.